Hey everybody, Ryan here from Android Coliseum, here to do my review on the Galaxy S6 Edge. And this is their latest version, and this is actually the, there's also an S6 and the S6 Edge. The difference being here is that the S6 Edge has these curved edges on the device. And that's pretty, I gotta admit, it's very, very sexy. And for most people, I was suggesting, you know what, for the $100 difference, you go for this. It makes it feel extra, ultra thin and light. But in practical use, I've been finding it a bit of annoyance. I'll talk about that later. So what do we get in this device? We have the fingerprint scanner, which is right here. Now, I wish it would have worked that if you could just tap it, it would read it already, like the iPhone does, but it doesn't do it that way. I have to tap it and hold it ever so slightly, just for a second or so longer. So that's just kind of one of the nuisances that I have with that. And to be honest with you, I probably would never use it. I mean, Samsung does use a lot of things for authentication that way, so you can do it that way if you wanted. But I mean, personally, I would find just having that extra little bit a bit of a pain, and just use things like Smart Lock if possible. Okay, what else is inside here? This is the octa-core processor. We have a 2600 milliamp hour battery. It's not as big as I'm normally used to in terms of battery. Usually devices that have 3000 milliamps, but inside that battery, it's also QI and PMA rechargeable. So if you're using rechargeable pucks or anything like that, this you use either one. Doesn't matter which one you get out there. Unlike ULG, this also has the fast adaptive recharging circuit, meaning that if you plug it in with the special charger it comes with, in 10 minutes of charging, it'll be charged about 4 hours. So, usually about 25%, 30% or so. With an hour of charging, it should be nearly 100% full, which is really, really good. So that's really neat. So the smaller battery doesn't really mean much and allows you to have a smaller, sexier phone. So we have a 60 megapixel camera, f1.9, so very wide aperture, being able to help you get some lower light shots in there. I don't like how it is raised. I mean, it doesn't really add that much to it being able to move or anything. But again, just as I hate potentially ever scratching that lens. Now this is kind of raised, and then it's got a bump there, so technically it wouldn't be really to get to it, but just for my thing, we always made fun of the iPhone 6 for that, and here Samsung has it in theirs, so that's kind of a pain. This is 3 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of storage, which I think is a definite must. You can get a 64 gig in the international version, but here in Canada, we're only going to get the 32s. There is no micro SD card, which, me and my stance, I'm not a big fan of micro SD anyway, so I'm okay with not having it. But I would like to have a bit more. And it comes with Lollipop, so 5.0.2, so that's the most recent, but definitely a very good version of Lollipop. So first thing, let's talk about Samsung. A lot of people talk about Samsung being really bloated and slow. It can be a little slower going in that. The animation isn't quite as fluid as I would like, but otherwise it acts quite well. I mean, no problem. A little sluggish in here, but when you're running regular normal apps, there's no issue. The apps themselves are very fast. In terms of bloat, if you load it up, there will be 25 apps in here that you will not ever use, or sorry, not ever use, that are not what you installed in there, but only 7 of them are the Samsung apps, right? And they're the Galaxy apps to get the other ones if you want. S-Voice, Smart Switch is the switching from one or the other. Their browser I put in there just because it comes with Chrome already, so why they need to include their browser as well, I don't know. I actually really like their browser. It's really good. It's a little bit faster than Chrome at times. Their S-Health and the Smart Manager, so in their music player. And again, I included the music player and internet just because they include Google Play Music and Chrome. So if you take out, that's only 5 if you take those 2 out, because those are sort of already, so I'll call it standards. They include 11 pre-installed third-party ones, but most of them you're going to use, like Box and OneDrive and Dropbox, Skype, Facebook. Most people already have Messenger. So really stuff like Instagram or WhatsApp, OneNote, the Office app, or PeelSmart, those you may or may not use. You got PeelSmart is awesome. It has that feature anyways. Once you have the remote control on your phone, you never really go back to something. The biggest offender I find is Bell. That's a lot of apps just for the carrier. Come on, we're better than that. Okay, so that's how it looks. The settings are okay. Again, very fast. Not too bad there at all. Nothing we haven't seen in other devices before. Quad HD display looks really good. Really ultra vibrant. I really had to tone down this screen so you can see it on the camera here. But one thing is weird. When you do get... Samsung has these Galaxy gifts that you can install. So S Translator, Snap Business Card. Where is it? They're not showing it here, I guess not anymore. But some of the things you can get, like the first 6 months of certain apps or whatever for free, and so really kind of cool things. For example, I got The Hobbit here. They said that you'd be able to get a certain character unlocked, which is how many thousands of gold. And I go to open it up, and it'll say this is an outdated app. Update it now. It'll bring me to the App Store, and I'll open it from here. Update now? Nope. So I don't know what's going on there. That's just kind of weird. Then you're kind of locked in a loop. I think this is the S6. I had to download this one. So other fancy things that they come with. Anyways, what else do I want to talk about this here? So, what is it about the Edge? I mean, what makes this one different? If you can see this ever so slightly, there's a tiny little bar there. If I swipe up from the side, we're going to get our quick contacts, and we can color code them to be whoever we want, so that when we get a text message, for example, my wife Mandy, I assigned her green, there'd be a little bar green that's right there, so I know that there's a text message or a phone call from her that I could swipe out from if it's there. There's nothing right now, so I'd have to do that. And then I could do stuff where I would automatically quickly email them or quickly call them. You can somehow get it to do a scrolling thing along the side here, but because it's all based on text messages, on phone call logs, it doesn't really pull that information for me, because I don't really use this for texting or phone calling, just Gmail and Hangouts personally. So that was kind of weird. But other than that, that's pretty much the only thing that the Edge really features. And the problem I have with it is normally when I'm playing Ingress, that I do the glyph hacking thing, that my little chubby palm here is actually slightly touching the screen, or I'm holding it, my thumb is touching the screen, so it registers as a second touch and therefore ruins my glyph hack. Now and again, I'll notice on opening up folders sometimes, if I have my hand in the right way, it won't open up. So I really have to make sure I'm using just the fingers tips on here and just the edges, so I'm not actually touching the screen. So that's kind of the pain for me. So personally, I would recommend going to the regular version, because it's exactly the same just without the Edge, and that would just be a constant nuisance to me. What else do we want to talk about here? So, right, the camera. So the camera is always enabled. Just double tap, and you can do that even if you're from asleep. Double tap. Oh, no, it's not doing it now. There we go. And they say it's under 2 seconds that it'll bring up the camera app. Take a picture. We've got a lot of cool little features you can play around with here. Alright, I'll unlock. Alright. So different settings of the camera. Different effects we can play around with. So HDR, auto, off, on. And then there's the modes. You can download different modes. So nothing we haven't really seen before. Pro gives you some features, like you can adjust the ISO and certain other features like that. Nothing really crazy. One cool thing I did like was this virtual shot. So instead of like a photosphere taking photos all around you of your personal space, what you see, you can take photos around something else. So you would move around it and then be able to see that, kind of a 3D-ish kind of look. So I'll show you an example. And essentially all it really is just going to be a little video. Oh, no, I know that's right. Which you can save. So this is for example, one here. And I can scrub around it. So essentially it's just a little video that you can move around. Really would be cool, I would think, for people doing Kijiji ads or anything. You want to, here's the camera I'm selling. But you can also do it in sort of anything. So kind of I thought it was a really cool, neat feature. And then you can export it or share it as a video or an animated GIF and stuff like that. Because of that, again, all it really is just a video. Right, so it'd be cool if you could zoom in, or I can tilt it myself sort of as I move it around. That's kind of neat. That's the camera. I mean, other than this thing, like I said, it really is a bunch you would have seen other devices, other Samsung devices out there. There's not really any new except for those. I like the camera feature in this curve, but to be honest, the curve is kind of annoying me. So I like the camera feature. The screen is really great. The camera works really well. So I'll post some samples of that. Really done a pretty good job in this one. I think this is a new era for Samsung in terms of being able to deliver quality built devices on top of their already good hardware, and their software is getting even better. So this is the S6, and I recommend the S6 Edge, and I recommend the S6. So look for a full write-up on the site, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks.